Hi there from Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This is a continuation in a series of videos that we've been doing about using purchase orders and various methods that you can use purchase orders to streamline your business, etc. In this video, which is the last of a little series of videos, I'm going to show you some tools for attaching your costs as you post them to purchase orders, and then some tools for managing your purchase orders versus your costs and making corrections as you need and using a window for that. So I've clicked, first of all, I'm going to click the purchase orders menu, which I clicked a purchase orders button there. And I'm going to select our demo job that we've been doing in so many of our videos. We've issued a few POs, and in some of our demos we've actually attached some cost to a few of them. But I've selected that job here, and I'm going to click this button for POs and cost management. You can actually click and get the same thing except with extensive search features for all jobs, so that then I could do the same thing by opening this and searching for this job, but I wouldn't have all kinds of other search features. And we will get to that extensive search features after a bit. But let's go ahead and open this POs and costs management window, and I'll show you why it's called that. You can see here, if you look, these are all for the same job: the PO number, the type, cost code, vendor, stage. But mostly what I wanted to show you is that you're seeing the amount of the purchase order, then you're seeing the amount of any actual costs that have been posted and attached to that purchase order. So far in this demo job, we did issue a whole bunch of POs, budgeted POs, etc. So we have a lot of those, and in some of our demos that we've been doing, we've actually gone and attached some costs to them. So you can see that this particular PO has had a posted cost posted to it, so that the amount over under, in other words outstanding on this PO in a way, is this amount. It also shows the outstanding amount. If I check mark this as done, this outstanding amount would change to 0. You can see that here. We had a PO for $2,500, then we were demonstrating that we deducted $200 for slow work or something, and we went ahead and check marked that this PO was done, so it is showing 0 as outstanding. However, we posted the bill as unpaid to pay later in a check run, and it's still sitting in an unpaid status. So remaining to pay on this PO is still $2,300 because we haven't actually cut the check. Right here it shows that you did pay the $5,000. It's posted as paid, and the remaining to pay is $25,000. So you can see how you can get an overview of costs that have been posted and the amounts attached to them. I now want to show you, and by the way, you can drill down on these things and see what those posted costs were. In this case, it just was one entry for $5,000, and its status was paid and when it was paid. If there'd been more than one entry, like say we've paid $5,000 a couple of times, you might have 2 entries there. Here's this $2,300. If we drill down on it, we can see actually that it is unpaid and the date that we used and some information about that record. I'm going to show you in a minute how you can drill down and actually correct a cost code that you got wrong and some other things by drilling down there. This will just open the PO window that we've seen many times in our previous windows, and you can open the PO, print it, look over the notes, do whatever you like to it, etc. But what I'd like to do is let's just kind of start in at the top. Since this is our demo job, we really haven't posted much cost except that ones we wanted to demonstrate. So let's just say, first of all, here, this is a PO we issued for warranty fees to Aces Builder. If I hover over it, I can see it's Aces Builder warranty for $1,075. And what I'd like to show you is the 2 or 3 different ways that we can post the actual bill, either from the purchase order, using the purchase order and cause it to create a bill for us, or just posting the bill and attaching it on the Add New Bill window. So let's leave this purchase orders menu open, and let's go to Post Payables. Notice that This is the button that is generally used for entering a lot of bills. And we did go to this earlier when we were talking about approving POs and approving work done. But I'm first going to go, in case you're really going ahead and using purchase orders to manage the flow of your costs, the payments to vendors, etc. One great tool for the bookkeeper can be to click this button that's Post Bills from Open or Approved POs. What this window will open is all POs that are still open, in an open status. They've not been marked as done, and that they have a balance. It takes a little while to bring all these things in. We were looking earlier about approving POs to pay, about how everybody can drill down to a variance report to see if it's over, see the purchase orders versus costs, which is actually that same window we were just looking at for POs and cost management. They can see whether the work is done, and they can see whether any little notes have been pinned to that done work. I think we probably went ahead and posted a bill from something that did have a pinned note to it, from the field. We don't have any little pinned notes, I don't think. But that was, let's just go ahead and search for just ones that are for our job that we're interested in, so that we don't see all POs from every job. Let's submit that search. Now you can see that we're kind of going in the same order of some things we wanted to do. The warranty fees, these are the open POs. And this has been check marked that the work is done. If you'd like, what you can do is just search for one. See how these down here have not been check marked. So you could do a search, and if you have a procedure in your company where the bookkeeper can go ahead and go post bills to pay just from the PO, because they've received a signed PO in, they could come to this window, they could find it on here, they could see whether it had been check marked as done and go ahead and create a bill from it. After you create the bill, you could also attach a copy of the signed PO to it. So this is one way to do it. You could do a search for just the ones that have work done, like I started to say, as checked, or you could search through a certain stage, but it might make it easier for the bookkeeper, if this is what your policy is that they are going to create a bill just for ones that the field have marked that the work is done. Like I said, you might wait for some signed PO to come in requesting payment from the vendor, and then go to this window and just look it up. But notice this is $1,075. This is what we're going to pay them. So we're going to click Create to create a bill from the purchase order, which means most everything will be filled in for you for posting the bill to accounting. If there have been any warnings about expirations, expiring, or there was discounts offered, you would get a message up here. This video is still not totally about all the fields on this window and how to post them. That would be in accounts payable videos. But you can see that the cost code was supplied, the job was supplied, the PO number was supplied. There's still tools here where you can drill down and see approval notes or various cost reports to see overages or not. But it filled in the amount. It did go ahead and just give it an invoice number. If you happen to be doing this from an invoice, you could type in a different invoice number. And if the invoice date is different, you can type in a different date. But notice that if I don't need to change any of those, I don't have to type anything in. This was all created. You could also, of course, put some description. But this was all created from the PO, and it was handled. If the PO had sales tax on it, this amount would be split enough and show the tax over here, which is really good for tracking sales tax reports, because CHS will post sales tax on a different line with the sales tax cost type. The cost type from the PO came in, everything came in for us. So we could submit this one as an unpaid bill that will show up for somebody else to approve. Actually just approve to go ahead and pay it and print a check for it. And I always recommend that you go ahead and get those bills in so that you can have somebody approving bills online rather than routing them all around. Next, what I'd like to show you is, and so that's how you create a bill from this list. And so you could just run down. You notice that that one that I did disappeared. It is no longer sitting here as an open PO because we have actually attached an actual cost to it. And if we jump back over to our purchase orders menu and open our POs and cost management again, you'll see how that line changed. Notice that there's the total PO, the total posted costs. It's showing that those are unpaid because we posted them as unpaid so that we have remaining to pay of this amount. The next thing I'd like to show you and then show you how we can fix it on this window is if somebody decides to post a bill and they for some reason just want to post it not from that list of work approved things but from another place. Let's just say we have one for PDA and Vista View. So if I do that and I go back to my post payables bills and I click to post a new bill, besides opening that list of open POs, you can actually, let's do our PDA. We know that we have something in, we're planning to post their bill. Down here, first of all, we got to notice that there are open POs for this vendor, just to let you know. If we have something in front of us, we could just select the job for this demo job. Then it says create bills from POs or review POs for this job and this vendor. And that's what we'll see here. And it actually is going to be the PO title, create bills again, but it's just narrowed it down to just purchase orders for that job and that vendor. So you could quickly open the same sort of screen as we had before. However, this screen is not limited to just open POs. It'll find all POs for that job and that vendor in case you're just needing to take a look at them also, if you just want to do that for review. But you can click the create icon here. I guess it's called a hyperlink, and go ahead and create that bill from here. But what I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to go ahead, all this stuff got filled in like we talked about. I won't mess with it. I don't need to mess with it for my demo. What I'm going to do with this bill, however, is pretend that I have a bill that I received that is actually for $16,500. As soon as I came in and posted this from the PO just with my eyes, I can see that that is over the amount of the PO we issued. So what I'm going to decide to do as the bookkeeper is I'm going to copy this line to a second line, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this PO to none, and there's a reason for that. And even though I copied it, I'm just going to change this amount to 1,000. So the total that I have at the bottom is $16,500 that I received as the bill. The reason I'm separating those is because perhaps somebody might want to go ahead and approve the $15,500 to pay, and I'm going to show you in a minute how much easier that makes to perhaps make a variance PO and then attach this cost to that variance PO. So the only amount I'm attaching to the PO is the amount that we did the PO for, because in our company we like to watch the variances and have variance purchase orders giving us the reasons. But I don't have to stop and go do that first. I can go ahead and get this posted. So I'm going to go ahead and click the submit button here, and I'm probably going to get some overage alerts. And it's saying things are going to be over POs and budgets. So let's pause so we can review this little over budget alert. This says that our actual posted costs will be over the budget and change order by $375. A report will open to show how that was calculated. The total budget was $16,125, but notice that we did POs for $15,500. But we're posting costs of $16,500, so over budget we are $375. Our PO was supposed to be for less and bring down our being over budget. We should be under budget by $625 if we were only paying that PO. If we drill down on the over POs, what it's going to show us, it will be over POs by $1,000, and the report, this window that will open, will just show us a list of the POs issued and the total of the POs issued, and we can tell by looking at it that we only had POs for $15,500. We don't have some $1,000 variance PO or anything. So from that, the bookkeeper could go ahead and submit this, and I suggest that bookkeepers do go ahead and submit. I'll continue submit, and I'll mark it as unpaid, because if you have the process of somebody from the field being able to go ahead and approve job costs to be included in a cost code run, it's easier for them not to approve that 1,000. But I like you to go ahead and put it in so that they become aware of the 1,000. If they tell you not to ever do it, you can easily go delete that unpaid bill. The bookkeeper could also post some notes here. Maybe a note here that will stand out with a little pin. Just the invoice is 1,000 over the PO, so it is posted in a separate line for approval, or not. So let's save that. Then when somebody is approving the bills to pay, they're going to also see this little pin icon and that the bookkeeper has written them a note. The bookkeeper can also upload and attach a copy of that invoice so that they could look at it to see what the deal was with why it was $1,000 more. And like I said, if it's not approved and if the person approving writes a note and says delete this, we're not going to pay it, it's easy to delete on the unpaid payables window to delete that $1,000. But this is a way for a bookkeeper to get the message on through to the staff and talk about, just by being online, give words and messages about this overage. But the other thing I wanted to show you in talking about the POs and cost management is that you can issue a variance PO for that. So let's go back to the purchase orders window and go ahead and reopen our POs and cost management window and see what we ended up with here. Now you'll see that here for this plan cost and architect fees, we have this posted costs without a PO. And it has its over POs, because there's no PO, by $1,000. And there's a little hyperlink here that you could use if it's decided, that they are going to pay it and that they want a variance PO, so they can look back at the variance PO to see why it varied, etc., with those great reports we were looking at earlier of all your variance POs, so you can review why you go over on various jobs. But you can click this plus variance PO for $1,000, and CHS will make a purchase order for you that is marked as being a variance purchase order. You can see that here, and you can type in why. Maybe it was an estimating error, I don't know. You could either type in, you could set up some new variance reasons so they'll group together and select that one and type whatever reason. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but this will show up on lists of POs, of variance POs, these notes, and so they can be very informative about why we had this. But you'll notice that we now have a variance PO for $1,000 that can be handy to really make those variances stand out. Now if I refresh this after clicking that, and it does say over there that you're going to need to refresh if you do one of those, you'll see that we have the posted costs here and we have the PO here, and we want to get those matched up. So what we can do, and this can happen if maybe you just accidentally post a bill and forget to attach it to a PO, this is what you would do. I clicked to see the actual costs, and there's a little edit pencil here, which means I can edit some things about this invoice that was entered. And one of the things that I can edit is that I can select a purchase order to attach to it and then save it that easily, so we can get those things matched up. Since this opens showing you all actual costs for vendor PDA and cost code 1105 and PO number of none, it now has no records on this particular window that we drilled down to, and if there's no records, you quite often have to close that message box that's telling you that it's refreshing. It basically sort of stays there because it doesn't have anything to refresh. So this is telling you if we've made any changes, we need to click the refresh button here on our POs and cost management window, and now you can see how we have these lined up. We can go ahead and check mark this PO as done, So it's not showing anything outstanding on those POs, but it is showing these two unpaid amounts over here so that we have remaining to pay these two amounts. So that would give you quite a bit of history between the notes from the bookkeeper and making variance purchase orders about overages, if you like. And like I say, it could be that you just decide you're not paying this and you ended up deleting it without ever making a variance PO. I'm going to stop this video right now. We're going to come back and create another bill that maybe we just don't attach it to a PO and we use a wrong cost code, and I'll show you how you can use this window to get all of that sort of straightened out. That's why this is called your POs and job cost management window, because you can come here and take care of some things after the fact. Thank you for watching, and please watch the very next video.